Give me a minute. User telephone number here has a great question, right? Peter, what about Belarus? Will he attack from the north? So here's me in Kyiv. Here's Ukraine. The front is way out here. But this is Belarus. Look at it. And the question is, will he attack from there? Now, Lukashenko is particularly unpredictable. We don't know what he's going to do. He went along with the full-scale invasion. Russians poured over the border from Belarus, right? What were they doing there in the first place? Well, they were there for the annual Zapad military exercises, right? It's not invasion force. It's military exercises with Union State. But they came across the border. Now, we saw what happened to them. That 41-mile backup where the Ukrainians just took them out one after another. Thing of beauty. And all the land that they took was recaptured, but not before the war crimes in Bucha and Irpin and so many other places. So will they attack again? Well, we're worried about that, right? Lukashenko is making noise, talking about how there's a threat to Belarus from Ukraine, talking about how he's going to create new battalions and put them on the border. On top of that, the Zapad exercises are coming up again this September. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, there will be 15,000 Russians in Belarus to participate with the 45,000 or so Belarusian army. So that's maybe about 60,000 troops that they admit to participating in these exercises. The only thing is, we have satellites. And according to Western intelligence, the preparations being made inside Belarus for this year's Zapad exercises are for 150,000 troops. Literally 10 times the number that Russia says it's sending. That's a concern. Now, is that a bluff? Is it a double bluff? Is it a double blind bluff? We don't know. Because the Russians have put troops over that border again before, right? So they could do it again. We're hearing a lot of noise from the Belarusians, right? We saw Russia, in contravention of the nuclear proliferation treaty to which they are a signatory, move nuclear weapons into Belarus, pointed at Kyiv. Now they're saying they're going to give Belarus a Oreshnik missiles, which is kind of a joke. If you follow this channel, the Oreshnik is a failed $120 million bomb. And I mean that in both the literal and figurative sense. It doesn't work very good. It don't blow things up the way you want it to blow things up for $120 fucking million. So the Oreshnik scare is on. They're going to put Oreshnik in there. The bigger threat, I think, are the nukes. Russia knows that if it uses a tactical nuclear device, 500 years of Russian history come to an end in 42 and a half minutes. Just that simple. If Belarus uses a nuke on behalf of Russia, who's to say what would happen? Maybe just Belarus would fall. And you can be sure Putin is ready to throw Belarus under the bus if it means his own skin. So the short answer is that we don't have a good answer for you. I don't have a good answer for you. We're worried about it. Yeah, I mean, especially if you live where I live. You're worried about those 150,000 Russians joining up with 45,000 Belarusians. That's almost as many men, right? That's 195,000 men. That's almost as many men as Russia poured over the border at the beginning of the war, when they were all supposedly just having the Zapad military exercises. But it was really an invasion force, of course, as the U.S. State Department warned over and over again. So I don't know. What do you think? Can Russia afford another front? Right now, they're being beaten back in Kursk on their own territory. Right now, they're being beaten back in Sumy, back into Kursk, back into their own territory. the gains in the Donbass are nothing. That big incursion that everybody was talking about was a breakthrough. That's contained. So Russia's, despite all the press that tells you Russia's moving forward, Russia has gained since fall of 2022 less than 1% of Ukraine, 0.97 to be precise, 0.97% of Ukraine, 512 square kilometers. That's it. And it's cost them 1 million men. So what do you think? Will they dare risk another incursion from the north after the last one was such a dreadful failure? And the Ukrainians are far more prepared for such a maneuver now. Or is it bluff and bluster? Or there are some analysts, because a lot of the equipment is being moved into this corner right here. So you got Lithuania here, you got Poland here, and this is the border between Poland and Lithuania. It's only about, if I'm not mistaken, 60 miles. If I'm not mistaken, it's 60 miles. It's about 90 kilometers from here to here. And here, of course, is Kaliningrad, the Russian exclave. There are analysts that are concerned that Russia might test NATO's resolve and Article 5 responses by pouring the 150,000 troops over there and establishing a corridor to Kaliningrad, which does not currently exist. It's Polish and Lithuanian territory. Should they try to grab, say, 12 miles of Poland and Lithuania? I mean, that's an Article 5, right? But the Russians don't think NATO has it in them. The Russians don't think the Poles and the Baltics will fight back. They thought that about the Ukrainians. I mean, these people are just consistently wrong about everything. So what do you think? Do you think the Russians are foolish enough to open another front? And if they are, will they open it coming into Kyiv? Or will they open it over there involving 2 NATO countries? I don't know. I do not know. If I had to guess, my guess is that it's all bluff and bluster. Lukashenko wants to stay in power. He wants to stay alive. And if he lets Putin drag Belarus into this thing, he's not going to make it to retirement in 2030. I don't think. Of course, the pressure on him from Putin is very high to do something. We'll see. What do you think?